The sound of my doorbell cut through the stillness of my Sunday morning. I was mid-sip of my lukewarm coffee, wearing a sleep shirt and socks, hair a mess. Not exactly visitor ready. When I opened the door, there she was, Monica. Monica from next door. The kind of woman who made you forget your own name. Late 30s, with caramel-toned skin and warm brown eyes that held a kind of quiet chaos. Always dressed in workout gear even when she wasn't going anywhere. Like she could bolt or stretch into a yoga pose at any second. Divorced last year. No kids. Lived alone. We'd said hi a few times while dragging trash bins to the curb. She smiled more with her eyes than her lips. I liked that. But this morning she wasn't smiling. She looked flustered, her dark curls a little damp, wearing only a towel and a look of sheer panic. "Hey, I'm so sorry, Danny," she stammered. "My shower just exploded, like water shooting everywhere. I tried turning it off, but it's jammed or rusted or haunted. I don't know. Can I please use yours just to rinse off?" I blinked. Yeah, of course." And just like that, Monica breezed past me in a swirl of eucalyptus-scented chaos, heading down the hallway like she'd lived here 1,000 times. My house wasn't big, just a one-story with creaky floors and too many potted plants. I followed her dumbly, still holding my coffee, and pointed at the bathroom. Clean towels are in the cabinet, shampoo's on the left. Just, don't mind the duck-shaped soap. She laughed, finally. A real one. "You have duck soap? I'm a woman of taste," I muttered, trying not to stare at the towel barely clinging to her hips. I went back to the kitchen, heart drumming faster than it should have. It was just a shower. Just water. No big deal. But something had shifted. Minutes passed. I heard the pipes groan, the water running, then silence, then, "Danny?" Her voice came muffled and hesitant. I patted over and knocked gently. "Yeah?" The door creaked open an inch. She peered through, her face flushed. "I think I broke your handle. The water won't shut off." Of course. This day was cursed. "I'll get the wrench," I sighed. Inside, steam curled around us like breath. Monica stepped aside. Now in one of my oversized t-shirts I kept in the cabinet for laundry days. I didn't know what was more distracting, her bare legs or the smell of my lavender shampoo in her hair. I crouched by the faucet, working the wrench. My arm brushed her shin by accident, and she flinched slightly. Not away, more like toward. I looked up. She was already looking down at me. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, "for barging in like this. I just didn't know who else to ask." I shrugged. "You can barge in whenever. Seriously." She smiled again, soft this time, almost apologetic. I forget how nice it is to not be alone in a crisis. I fixed the handle, turned the water off. A small victory. But neither of us moved. "I should probably get back home," she said finally, not moving at all. "Sure, yeah, you can keep the shirt. It looks better on you anyway." That made her smile again. Then she looked at me for a long moment, too long for casual neighbors. "I owe you coffee," she said. I nodded, suddenly unable to find my voice. She didn't leave right away. Instead, she walked back to the kitchen with me, barefoot on the hardwood floor, and we sat awkwardly, then comfortably over the rest of my cold coffee. We talked, really talked, about her divorce, my last girlfriend, her fear of waking up old and unloved, my fear of never being seen fully, and at one point, When she reached over to touch my hand without thinking, it felt like a new chapter had opened, like the floor under us had shifted just slightly. She stayed for 3 more hours. When she left, she looked back from my doorway and said, "I didn't know today would feel like a beginning." Neither did I. But everything changed after that morning. The next morning, I found myself watching her house through the blinds like some suburban cliché. A mug of fresh coffee in hand, pretending not to care. Pretending I hadn't replayed yesterday over and over in my mind. Her hand on mine. The way her eyes lingered when she said goodbye. The way her laugh didn't match the pain in her stories. I told myself I was just waiting to return her towel. But I didn't knock. 3 days passed. Then Friday came, and with it, Monica on my doorstep. No towel this time. Just ripped jeans, a cream-colored sweater, and a box of croissants in her hand. "You said I owe you coffee," she said. "But I make terrible coffee." So I thought, pastries? I stepped aside before my mouth remembered how to speak. We didn't eat them right away. Instead, we stood in my kitchen, leaning against opposite counters like a scene from an indie film, laughing about how she tried to fix her own plumbing again and ended up snapping something definitely important. And then she asked, "Can I tell you something weird?" "Always," I said. She looked down, twisting a ring on her finger. A ring she no longer wore all the time. I haven't felt this connected to someone in a long time. Not since before the divorce. Maybe not even then. The silence that followed was thick, but not uncomfortable. It was charged. "I get that," I said softly. "I didn't think anything had shifted in me either. Until you knocked on my door in a towel." She laughed, her hand brushing mine again. Always just a little too long to be nothing. Then she whispered, "I keep thinking about that morning. About staying." I met her eyes. "You could've." A beat. "I still could," she said. She didn't mean forever. Not even overnight. She meant now. Today. I don't remember who moved first. Maybe I did. Maybe she did. But suddenly she was close. Close enough that I could smell the vanilla on her neck. Close enough that I could feel her breath when she looked up at me with uncertainty in her eyes. "I haven't kissed anyone since him," she said. "I'm not even sure I know how anymore." "You don't have to be sure," I whispered. Her lips trembled as they met mine. It wasn't some Hollywood kiss with a swelling orchestra and fireworks. It was tender, testing. A first step over a line we both had been circling for weeks, maybe months without knowing. When we pulled away, her forehead pressed to mine. "I don't know what I'm doing," she murmured. "I don't either," I replied, breathless. "But maybe we don't need to." The rest of the day blurred into warmth and soft touches, laughter, awkward pauses, and more stolen kisses. We sat too close on the couch, our legs tangled. She asked me about the photos on my wall. I asked her about the half-written poetry she once mentioned but never showed. When dusk fell, she didn't want to go home. "Your house feels less empty than mine," she said. She fell asleep with her head on my shoulder while we were watching a documentary neither of us remembered. Later that night, I covered her with a blanket and watched her sleep peaceful for the first time since I'd known her. It didn't feel like a fling. It felt like healing. In the quiet, I caught myself wondering what this would mean tomorrow. If there was a tomorrow for us. Morning sunlight spilled through the blinds, warming Monica's face where she still slept on the couch. Her breath was slow, steady. For a long while, I didn't move, afraid that any shift might end this delicate moment. Eventually, She stirred, her eyes blinking open, and when they found mine, she smiled. Not startled, not embarrassed, just content. "I drooled on your throw pillow," she mumbled. "Worth it," I replied, smiling back. We shared breakfast, just scrambled eggs and burnt toast, but everything felt lighter, easier. She sat across from me, legs folded under her, no makeup, hair tied up messily, wearing the same oversized t-shirt from days ago. I couldn't stop looking at her, and for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. "I haven't let anyone into my space like this," she said, chewing slowly. "Not since I left the house I shared with him. I swore I'd do it all alone this time." "Maybe alone isn't always safer," I said gently. Her eyes locked on mine. "It's not." The day blurred again. She didn't go home. I didn't ask her to. We rearranged bookshelves, took turns trying to scrub a stubborn coffee stain off the rug. We danced badly to music we hadn't heard in years. We weren't lovers yet, but we weren't neighbors anymore either. Something in between. But even beautiful things begin to crack under the weight of old stories. That evening, she stood by my window, arms crossed, staring at her own dark house across the lawn. "You know what's crazy?" she asked. "I lived with a man for 12 years. I thought I loved him. I thought I was safe. But that house never felt like mine. Not really." I stepped behind her, gently placing my hands on her shoulders. "And this place?" I asked. She turned, her voice softer now. "This feels like a beginning." And beginnings scare the hell out of me. I nodded. "Me too." Then she whispered, "But I want to try. With you." That night, she didn't sleep on the couch. We moved through each other's silences slowly, like exploring a new language. There was laughter, kissing, whispered apologies for the hesitation in our hands. My bedroom, once quiet and empty, became something else entirely with her in it. Every corner hummed. We didn't rush it, but we didn't resist it either. Afterward, she rested her head on my chest and traced invisible shapes against my skin. "I keep waiting for this to fall apart," she admitted. "But for once, I don't want to run." "You don't have to," I said, holding her tighter. "No one's chasing you here." Weeks passed. Her shower got fixed, but she still used mine. She started leaving toothbrushes, socks, eventually books. I started buying oat milk because she didn't drink regular. We started watching shows and forgetting which episode we were on because we were too busy talking over them. One Sunday, while folding laundry together, she looked up and asked, "Is this what it's like? To grow into someone instead of just falling?" And I nodded, heart full. "It's not falling anymore, Monica. It's choosing, every morning." She kissed me then. Not like a neighbor, not like a mistake, but like someone who had finally come home.